Says all glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining regularly.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Please, Pran Govinda Prabhuji, please accept our humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Today's class is given by His Grace, Pran Govinda Prabhuji, and topics is Caitanya Caritamrita, Antya Lila, chapter 11, 46 onwards. Prabhuji, please take over the call, Prabhu.
Thank you, Mata. Hare Krishna. I'd like to welcome all of you. I thank you for taking your valuable time and joining in this session of reading and finding the glorification of Haridas Thakur in relation to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So we are going to begin with chanting the traditional Srila Prabhupada's introduction on Chaitanya Charitamrita class. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Daita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Brinda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Daita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Brinda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Daita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Brinda. So we are beginning from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Antya Lila, chapter 11, titled by Srila Prabhupada as the passing of Haridas Thakur. And we have read, so 44 onwards, right, Mata? 40, no, 46.
46 onwards, yes.
46 onwards, okay. It's quite big. 100, let's see, up to 108. Okay. Maybe some of you can help me also read this. So that will be nice, one by one. So I'll begin with that. But I would like to read the first summary just to see where we are. And then we'll start with Srila Prabhupada give the summary, translation of Bhaktivinoda Thakur's. Summary of this chapter is given by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur in his Amrita Prabha Bhashya as follows. In this chapter, it is described how Brahma Haridas Thakur gave up his body with the consent of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and how the Lord himself personally performed the funeral ceremony and carried the body to the sea. He personally entombed the body, covered it with sand, erected a platform on the site. After taking a bath in the sea, he personally begged prasadam of Jagannath from shopkeepers and distributed prasadam to the assembled devotees. Wonderful. Namami Haridasam tam Chaitanyam tancha tat prabhum Sangstithamapi Janmurtim Sanke Krita Nanarthaja. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto Haridas Thakur and his master Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who danced with the body of Haridas Thakur on his lap. Now it's 46. Haridase age asi dila darasana, Haridasa bandila prabhurar Vaishnava charana. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the devotees came before Haridas Thakur, who offered his respect to the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and all the Vaishnavas. Prabhu kahe Haridas kaha samachar, Haridas kahe Prabhu je kripa tumhar. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu inquired, my dear Haridas, what is the news? Samachar. What is the news? Haridas Thakur replied, my Lord, whatever mercy you can bestow upon me, that is the news. Very nice. Angane arambila Prabhu Mahasankirtana Bakreshwara Panditaha Karena Nartana. Upon hearing this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu immediately began great congregation chanting in the courtyard. Bakreshwar Pandit was the chief dancer. Now, before I go further, I want to, I was meditating this morning. I just finished one class. I had a Bhakti Shastri class a few minutes back. And so I'm shifting to this pastimes, how we can take essence of this pastime to our heart, something relevant to our life. This chapter, I mean, every chapter has a main focus. This chapter is giving that in our spiritual journey, when our consciousness is purified, purification means that our activity is aligned with devotional principle. This is one definition of purification. If I do something it is not actually recommended, means it is not purifying. So Haridas Thakur's life, how did he manage his life and where he's ended? And our last exit, like Prabhupada says, Srila Prabhupada mercifully, he says one verse, I'm sure you all heard it. Sadhan karo, bhajan karo, morte janle hoy. Whatever sadhan and bhajan you are doing, if you know at the time of death, your intention, your inclination, your destination, they all will manifest right then and there. And this is exhibiting in this. So I found 4 things we can take. This is the way I saw it. I'm not saying this is, everybody has to see, but this is how I saw it, the 4 ways. First thing in their relationship, Haridas Thakur and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is the appreciation, thanking each other. Before we die, before the moment of death, we must have this. I'm begging everyone, appreciate, be thankful. And the person who is departing must hear that word, that other appreciate. The second point is Haridas Thakur and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's relationship. As we read more, or before also you saw it, I'm sure you read that part also, because we are starting from 46. Expression of care, love, that how much Haridas Thakur loved Mahaprabhu and how much Mahaprabhu loved him through the expression. And third is forgiveness and begging for forgiveness, also forgiving others. If we have these few things, then our consciousness will have no clouding. It will have a clear. Then Krishna thinking is easy. And the reciprocal between Haridas Thakur and Mahaprabhu established that. This is a beautiful way. So we can think this 4 subject matter and then we can proceed. So we can prepare also when we leave this world, we want to be a recipient of Mahaprabhu's mercy so we can actually enter into spiritual world with purified heart. It is not only thinking of Krishna, it is our consciousness has to be purified and position ourselves with that grateful attitude, accepting subordination, no identity beside Guru, Prabhupada, and engagement in devotional service. These are the few key points that will take us to spiritual world, to take us to the highest destination. 49. Saropo Gosai Adi Jata Prabhur Gana Haridase Beri Kore Nama Sankirtana. Headed by Sarup Damodar Goswami, all the devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu surrounded Haridas Thakur and began congregational chanting. I hope you remember before what happened. How all these devotees surrounded Haridas Thakur? Why they care for him? He cared for them. He literally, it's one of the verse previously said that he took the mercy from everyone around it. So when we become a recipient, the devotee likes us, each of us, the devotee cares for us. We cannot demand, but we can earn. We have to earn. Then this will happen. That it says that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu surrounded Haridas Thakur and began congregational chanting. Ramananda Sarvabhauma Sabaro Agrete Haridaser Guna Prabhu Lagila Kohite. In front of all the great devotees like Ramananda Rai and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began to describe the holy attributes of Haridas Thakur. Haridasera Guna Kohite Prabhu Hoila Panchamuk. Now you see what happened. He's about to leave the world. Now Haridas Thakur should be talking the Krishna Katha. But what is that Krishna Katha? Is that Krishna's quality manifesting in Haridas Thakur, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu glorifying in through 5 mouths. As he described the transcendental attributes of Haridas Thakur, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu seemed to possess 5 mouths. 5 mouths is not like a big loudspeaker. That's not what 5 mouths means. Like Mahadeva Panchamukhe Rama Rama Kahe. It's not like 5 mouths. The conception is the different melody, different character, different attributes that Haridas Thakur exhibited. It's required, just like in a kirtan, you have a kartal, you have a mridanga, you have a harmonium, somebody may have a bina. Each one has a different melody, different sound, but together harmoniously it creates a tumultuous, attractive, nourishing sound. So similarly, to glorify the 5 different features of a person or personality, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu exhibited that way. The more he described, the more his happiness increased. What a beautiful. Haridaser Gunesavar Bishmita Hayaman Sarva Bhakta Bande Haridasera Charan. After hearing of the transcendental qualities of Haridas Thakur, all the devotees present were struck with wonder. They all offered their respectful obeisances to the lotus feet of Haridas Thakur. If you ever meet a person going to leave this world, devotee, try to gather that devotee's quality. Or he is to come to Mangalarti every day. Tell that you have inspired us by coming to Mangalarti every day. You have inspired us by cooking beautiful, nice bhoga for the Lord I'm sure Lord is so happy. We felt nourished. This is important. Resentment, all these things, blockage our. So forgiveness is important. Please forgive us. You are about to leave. We forgive you all. If we committed any offense, please. This is what Haridas Thakur told to Mahaprabhu also. And Mahaprabhu did the same thing. That how will I live without you? You are such a wonderful associate. I appreciate, Mahaprabhu was appreciating. Haridas Thakur says, oh Prabhu, I'm just a little insignificant. What is the loss of an ant? So these are very important. Haridase Gunesavar Bishmita Hayaman Sarva Bhakta Bande Haridasera Charan. After hearing of the transcendental qualities of Haridas Thakur, all the devotees present were struck with wonder. They all offered their respectful obeisances to the lotus feet of Haridas Thakur. Haridasa Nijagrete Prabhure Vasaila Nija Netra Dui Bringa Mukha Padmadila. Haridas Thakur made Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sit down in front of him. Then he fixed his eyes like two bumblebees on the lotus face of them. Saridaye ani dharila prabhura charan sarva bhakta padarenu mastaka bhushan. He held the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu on his heart. Then took the dust of the feet of all the devotees present and put it on his head. That's a lot of work, if you think physically, to take the dust of all the devotees. Haridas Thakur did that and put it on his head. Wow. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Sabda bolen bar bar Prabhu Mukha Madhuri Piye Netre Jaladhar. It's interesting how Haridas Thakur was chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra whole life. But when moment of death comes, he chanted a most attractive name of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. He did not say Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. He says Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Proper translation, he began to chant the holy name of Sri Krishna Chaitanya again and again as he drank the sweetness of the face of the Lord. Tears constantly glided down from his eyes. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Sabda Karite Ucharan Namere Sahit Pran Koila Utkraman. This is a beautiful conclusion. While chanting the holy name of Sri Krishna Chaitanya, he gave up his air life, left his body. Mahajogeshwara Pai Dekhi Sakchande Maran Bhishmaran Irja Savar Haila Smaran. Seeing the wonderful death of Haridas Thakur by his own will, which was just like a great mystic yogis, everyone remembered the passing away of Bhishma. Hari Krishna Sabde Sabe Kare Kolahal Premanande Mahaprabhu Haila Vibal. There was a tumultuous noise as they all chanted the holy name. Hari and Krishna. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became overwhelmed with ecstatic love. Is there someone in the audience who would like to voluntarily read something? We have to go all the way to 100.
I can read, Prabhu.
Yes, Mata.
Text 59. Haridasatanu Prabhu Khole Laila Uthana Angane Nachena Prabhu Pramavishtahan. The Lord raised the body of Haridas Thakur and placed it on his lap. Then he began to dance in the courtyard in great ecstatic love. Text 60. Prabhura Avesha Avasa Sarva Bhakta Gan Prama. Because of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's ecstatic love, all the devotees were helpless, and in ecstatic love, they also began to dance and chant congregationally. Text 61.
Ei Mata Nritya Prabhu Kaila Katashana Swarupa Gosai Prabhu Rekarila Savadhana. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu danced for some time, and then Sarup Damodar Goswami informed him of other rituals for the body of Haridas Thakur. Text 62. Haridasa Thakure tabe vimane chadana samudre lana gela tabe kirtana kariya. The body of Haridas Thakur was then raised into a carrier, and that resembled an airship, and taken to the sea, accompanied by congregational chanting. Text 63. Aage Mahaprabhu chale na nritya kharite kharite pache nritya kare Vakreshwara bhakta gana sathe. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu danced in front of the procession, and Vakreshwara Pandit, along with the other devotees, chanted and danced behind him. Haridasa samudra jale snana karila Prabhu kahe samudra e mahatirtha haila jai. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu bathed the body of Haridas Thakur in the sea and then declared, from this day on, this sea has become a great pilgrimage site.
Just 1 second, Mata.
Yeah.
Does any one of you know, I think maybe I discussed one time, what purifies the Ganges? Is it the water or the mother Ganges?
When the pure devotees bathe in the Ganges get purified.
No, but what purifies the Ganges? That when we bathe in Ganges, what purifies, the water or mother Ganges?
It must be Mother Ganges.
Okay. Those two are correct, but they are not actually prime cause. Prime cause is Bamandev's own desire. So when we read this, that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu bathed the body of Haridas Thakur in the sea and declared, from this day on, this sea has become a great pilgrimage site. It is not the Haridas Thakur body or anything. It is Mahaprabhu's own word. We have to take it as truth. When we bathe in ocean, that site, that ocean is actually became Tirtha because Mahaprabhu's word. This is what Supreme Personality, absolute truth is. When the Lord says, let there be sun, sun immediately appeared. Let there be earth, earth appeared. Similarly, word and him are same. So that's how we see it. Very nice, thank you. Okay, 65.
Haridasera padodaka Pai Bhakta Gana Haridasera Anga Dila Prasada Chandana. Everyone drank the water that has touched the lotus feet of Haridas Thakur, and then they smeared remnants of Lord Jagannath's sandalwood pulp over Haridas Thakur's body. Text 66. Dora kadara prasada vastra anga dila valukara garta karita hesholila. After a hole was dug in the sand, the body of Haridas Thakur was placed into it. Remnants from Lord Jagannath, such as his silken robe, sandalwood pulp, food, and cloth, were placed on the body. Text 67. Charidike bhakta gana kare na kirtana Vakreshwara pandita kare na ananda nartana. All around the body, the devotees performed congregational chanting, and Vakreshwar Pandit danced in jubilation. Text 68. Hari bola, bole gaura raya, apani shri haste valu dhila than ragaya. With his transcendental hands, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally covered the body of Haridas Thakur with sand, chanting Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Text 69. Tanre valu diya upare pinda bandhaila chaudi ke pindare maha avarna khaila. The devotees smeared the body of Haridas Thakur with sand and then constructed a platform upon the site. The platform was protected all around by fencing. ताहावेदी प्रभु कैला कीर्तन नर्तना हरि ध्वनि कोलाहले bharila bhuvana. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu danced and chanted all around the platform, and as the holy name of Hari rode tumultuously, the whole universe became filled with the vibration. Hare Krishna. Maybe somebody else can read.
Yes. Another Mataji or Prabhuji, whoever is there.
Hi Krishna Prabhu. I'll read another 5 verses so somebody else can read them. Text 71. तबे महाप्रभु सब भक्त गण संगे समुद्रे करीला स्नान जाला केली रंगे. After Sankirtan, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu bathed in the sea with his devotees, swimming and playing in the water in great jubilation. Haridasa Pradakshina Kari Aila Simha Dware Hari Kirtana Kolahal Sakala Nagare. After circumambulating the tomb of Haridas Thakur, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to the Simhadwar gate of the Jagannath temple. The whole city chanted in congregation, and the tumultuous sound vibrated all over the city. Simhadware ऐसी प्रभु पसाईरा थाने अंचल पताई प्रसाद मागिला तथाए. Approaching the Simhadwar gate, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spread his cloth and began to beg prasadam from all the shopkeepers there. Haridasa Thakurera Maha Utsavaira Tare Prasada Magiya Bhiksha Dehata Amare. I am begging prasadam for a festival honoring the passing away of Haridas Thakur. The Lord said, please give me alms. Somebody else can start, Mataji, 75 verse.
Hare Krishna Mataji, I will read Mataji. Suniya pasari sava sangadaha uthana prasada dite ase tara anandita hana. Hearing this, all the shopkeepers immediately came forward with big baskets of prasadam, which they jubilantly delivered to Lord Chaitanya. Sorupa Gosani pasari ke nisedila Sangadahalana pasari pasare basila. However, Swarupa Damodara stopped them, and the shopkeepers returned to their shops and sat down with their baskets. Swarupa Gosani Prabhure Karapathila Pathaila Sari Vaishnava Sari Pasida Sange Rakhila. Swarupa Damodara sent Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu back to his residence and kept with him 4 Vaishnava and 4 servant carriers. Swarupa Gosani Kahilena Sava Pasari Re Eka Eka Dvavyera Eka Eka Punja Deha More. Swarupa Damodara said to all the shopkeepers, deliver to me 4 palmfuls of prasadam from each and every item. एहि माथे नाना प्रसाद भोज बन्धाना लना ऐला चारी जानेर मस्तके चन्दना. In this way, varieties of prasadam were collected, then packed off in different loads and carried on the heads of the 4 servants. Vaninata Patanaika Prasadana Anila Kasi Mishra Aneka Prasada Pathaila. Not only did Swarupa Damodara Goswami bring prasadam, but Vaninata Patanaika and Kasi Mishra also sent large quantities. Sava Vaishnave Prabhu Vasaila Sari Sari Apane Parivese Prabhu Lana Jana Sari. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu made all the devotees sit in rows and personally began to distribute the prasadam assisted by 4 other men. Mahaprabhu Rasa Sri Haste Alpana Aise Eka Eka Pati Pancha Jana Rava Baksa Yaha Parivese. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was not accustomed to taking prasadam in small quantities. He therefore put on each plate what at last 5 men could eat. स्वरूप कहे प्रभु बसी कहा करह दर्शना आमी इन्हा सबलाना करी परिवेशना. Swarupa Damodar Goswami requested Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, please sit down and watch. With these men to help me, I shall distribute the prasadam. स्वरूप जगदानंद काशी सोर शंकर चारि जना परिवेशन करे निरंतर. The four men Swarupa Damodara, Jagadanandana, Kasishwara and Shankara distributed the prasadam continuously. प्रभु ना कैले केहा ना करे भोजाना प्रभु रसे दीने काशी मिश्रेर निमंत्रण. All the devotees who sat down would not eat the prasadam as long as the Lord had not eaten. On that day, however, Kasi Mishra had extended an invitation to the Lord. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. The devotee maybe. Go ahead.
Somebody else up to 95?
Can I read, Prabhuji?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. आपने काशी मित्रा आईला प्रसाद लाना प्रभु रे भिक्षा कराईला आग्रह करिया. Therefore, Kashi Mishra personally went there and delivered prasadam to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with great attention and made him eat. Puri Bharatir Sange Prabhu Bhiksha Kaila Sakala Vaishnava Tabe Bhojana Karila. With Paramananda Puri and Brahmananda Bharati, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sat down and accepted the prasadam. When he began to eat, so did all the Vaishnavas. अखंड पुराण सपाय कराइल भोजन देह देह बलि प्रभु बले न वचन. Everyone was filled up to the neck because Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu kept telling the distributors, give them more, give them more. भोजन करिया सबे कैला आचमन सबारे पराइला प्रभु माल्य चंदन. After all the devotees finished accepting prasadam and had washed their hands and mouths, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu decorated each of them with a flower garland and sandalwood pulp. Prema Vishtahana Prabhu Kare Navaratana Suni Bhakta Gane Rajudaya Manasa Kama. Overwhelmed with ecstatic love, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu offered a benediction to all the devotees, which all the devotees heard with great satisfaction. हरिदासेर विजयोत्सव ये कैला दर्शन ये हा नृत्य कैला ये कैला कीर्तन ये तारे वालुकादिते करिल गमन तार मथे महोत्सवे ये कैला भोजन अचिरे हैबेता सपार कृष्ण प्राप्ति हरिदास दर्शने हय आईचे शक्ति. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave this benediction. Anyone who has seen the festival of Sri Haridas Thakura's passing away, anyone who has chanted and danced here, anyone who has offered sand on the body of Haridas Thakur, and anyone who has joined this festival to partake of the prasadam will achieve the favor of Krishna very soon. There is such wonderful power in seeing Haridas Thakur.
Can I ask you a question, Mata?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Can you say how can we participate there now?
In my mind.
Very good. And when you go there physically, what can you do according to this prediction? What can we do when we go there physically in Jagannath Puri?
Manasik?
No, you can physically be there. I went there many times.
We can offer our obeisances to obeisances to Srila Haridas Thakur's Samadhi and pray and pray the mercy of the Lord.
And
chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra attentively and south the Jagannath Puri Dham Vaishnava.
Okay, and something else?
And remember the whole pastime that we read now?
Very good. Something else also said in this. You just read the benediction.
Chant. Oh, okay.
And
take prasadam from.
Also dance.
Dance.
Some or other, nobody likes to say the dance. Yes, prasadam also. Because I did this with Radhanath Maharaj. You know, I don't know how much you know about Radhanath Maharaj's language. He doesn't speak Uriya, neither Bengali. But I was with him in the morning and we went there, and the head of the Haridas Thakur Samadhi invited us, and the head is speaking in Bengali and Maharaj is speaking in English, and I'm in the middle. Gauranga Prabhu also, I think, was with us. I forgot who else. Yeah, just we are 3 or 4. And we're honoring Prasadam, and the head of the Babaji was so happy and smiling and talking and really glorifying Radhanath Maharaj and Prabhupada and the devotees there, that how this Krishna consciousness moving all over the world, that he prays to Haridas Thakur for the welfare of all the devotees, especially those who are visiting to this place. And Maharaj is saying such a wonderful things. He said, you are holding the Mahaprabhu's so secret, that he loved Haridas Thakur so much, and you are really like maintaining so well. Maharaj was glorifying, appreciating. And that Babaji, I asked him in Bengali, do you understand English, Baba? He says, no. I said, but you are smiling and happy. He said, I know he's saying good things. I know his expression that he actually a lover of Haridas Thakur and Mahaprabhu. I said, wow. Then I turned back to Maharaj and I said, Maharaj, do you understand Bengali, what he just said? He said, no. I said, why you are happy? Why you are so lovingly, you are honoring Prasadam and you are glorifying so many things in English. He didn't understand, but I'll tell you what he says, but I want to hear from you first. Why you are so happy? He said, because I can feel his affection. He's expressing through the language. I may not understand, but I can feel it. And there's such a loving bond. I'll never forget that. I'll never forget. It was raining, heavy rain outside, but we went there with all those devotees from, I guess, from Bombay or Chopati they came. It was a Jatra day, one of the Jatra day. But we used to go out sometime myself with Maharaj. Maharaj was very kind, even though I was not qualified, but Maharaj was taking me. So I see that benefits. We can take advantage of that. We should take advantage, not we can, we should take advantage. And those devotees, Babajis, they're very compassionate to us. May not be following the same parampara, but they're very compassionate to us. So thank you. Would somebody like to read 5 more or something more? We're very close. Someone else volunteer? Nobody? Should I mention the name?
Well, I'd like to read.
Okay.
If the kids will let me. If I stop, it's kids.
Okay.
Krupakari Krishna More Tiya Chila Sangha Swatantra Krishnera Icha Kaila Sangha Bhanga. Being merciful upon me, Krishna gave me the association of Haridas Thakura. Being independent in his desires, he has now broken that association. Haridasera Icha Yabe Haila Chalite Amara Sakati Tanre Narila Rakite. When Haridas Thakura wanted to leave this material world, it was not within my power to detain him. Icha matre kaila nija prana nishkamana purve yena suni yachi bhishmera marana. Simply by his will, Haridas Thakur could give up his life and go away, exactly like Bhishma, who previously died simply by his own desire, as we have heard from Sastra. Haridasa Achila Pratibira Siromani Taha Vina Ratna Sunya Haila Medini. Haridas Thakur was the crown jewel on the head of this world. Without him, this world is now bereft of its valuable jewel. Jaya Jaya Haridasa Balikara Haridvani Ete Bali Mahaprabhu Nachene Apani. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then told everyone, say all glories to Haridas Thakur and chant the holy name of Hari. Saying this, he personally began to dance. Sabe Gaya Jaya 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 Haridasa Namare Mahima Yena Karila Prakasha. Everyone began to chant, all glories to Haridas Thakur, who revealed the importance of chanting the holy name of the Lord. Sabe Mahaprabhu Sabe Bhakta Vidaya Dila Harsha Vishade Prabhu Vishrama Karila. Thereafter, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu bade farewell to all the devotees, and he himself, with mixed feelings of happiness and distress, took rest. Etai kahilun haridasera vijaya yahara sravane Krishna druda bhakti haya. Thus I have spoken about the victorious passing away of Haridas Thakura. Anyone who hears this narration will certainly fix his mind firmly in devotional service to Krishna. Jai.
Thank you so much.
Glory.
Wonderful. So here is the purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. A Purushottam Kshetra or Jagannath Puri, there is a temple of Tota Gopinath. If one goes from there to the sea, he can discover the tomb of Haridas Thakur still existing. By the way, if you go there, walking distance from there, we have Ishkan temple and beautiful restaurant, guest house to stay also. Very nice facility we have. Every year on the date of Ananta Chaturdasi, there is a festival to commemorate the passing away of Haridas Thakur. At the same place, deities of Nityananda Prabhu, Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Advaita Prabhu were established about 100 years ago. A gentleman named Brahmarabara from Kendrapada in the province of Orissa contributed funds to establish these deities in the temple. The management of the temple was under the Tota Gopinath Goswamis. The temple was later sold to someone else. This party is now maintaining the Seva Puja of the temple. Near this temple, the tomb of Haridas Thakur, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur constructed a small house called the Bhakti Kuti in the Bengali year 1329, 1922. The Purushottam Math, a branch of the Gauriya Math, was established there. That temple is next to it, Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur's. In the Bhakti Ratnakar, it is stated, Srinivasa Sigra Samudrera Kula Gela Haridasa Thakurer Samadhi Dekhila. Bhumite Pariya Kaila Pranati Vistara Bhagavata Ganasri Samadhi Sannidhane Srinivasa Stira Kaila Sasneha Pachane Puna Srinivasi Samadhi Pranamiya Je Bipa Bilapa Koila Ta Sunile Drabbahiya. Srinivas Thakur quickly ran to the seashore when he saw the tomb of Haridas Thakur. He immediately fell down, offering prayers, and almost fainted. The devotee present there pacified him with very sweet and affectionate words. Srinivas again offered his obeisances to the tomb. Hearing of the separation that Srinivas has in his lamentation at the tomb of Haridas makes one one's heart melt. Caitanya Bhakta Vatsalya Hyate Jani Bhakta Vancha Purna Koila Nesi Siramani. From the incident of Haridas Thakur's passing away and the great care of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took in commemorating it, one can understand just how affectionate he is towards his devotee. Although he is topmost of all sannyasis, he fully satisfied the desire of Haridas Thakur. Cheskale dila tare darshana sparshana, tare kole kori koila apone nartana. When Haridas Thakur was at last stage of his life, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave him his company and allowed him to touch him. Thereafter, he took the body of Thakur Haridas on his lap and personally danced with it. Apani Sri Haste Kripaye Tare Bale Dila Apane Prasada Magi Mahotsava Kaila. Out of his causeless mercy, the Lord personally covered the body of Haridas Thakur with sand and personally begged alms from the shopkeepers. Then he conducted a great festival to celebrate the passing away of Haridas Thakur. Mahabhagavata Haridasa Param Vidwan Eso Bhagya Lagi Kage Korila Prayan. Haridas Thakur was not only the topmost devotee of the Lord, but also a great and learned scholar. It was his great fortune that he passed away before Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, purport by his divine grace, Srila Prabhupada. Haridas Thakur is mentioned here as the most learned scholar. Parama Vidwan, actually the most important science to know is the science of getting out of the clutches of material existence. Anyone who knows this science must be considered the greatest learned person. Anyone who knows the temporary situation of this material world and is expert in achieving a permanent situation in the spiritual world, who knows that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is beyond the jurisdiction of our experimental knowledge, is understood to be the most learned scholar. Haridas Thakur knew this science perfectly. Therefore, he is described in this connection as Parama Vidwan. He personally preached the importance of chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, which is approved by the revealed scriptures as stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Iti pangsar pita Vishnu bhaktischena navalakshana kriyate bhagavati adda tanmanne dhitam uttamam. There are 9 different processes of devotional service to Krishna. The most important being is Shravana Kirtana, hearing and chanting. Haridas Thakur knew this science very well. He can therefore be called technically Sarva Shastra Adhiti. Anyone who has learned the essence of all the Vedic scripture is to be known as a first-class educated person with full knowledge of all Shastra. Caitanya Charitra Amritere Sindhu Karna Manatipta Kare Jara Govinda. The life and characteristics of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are exactly like an ocean of nectar, one drop of which can please the mind and ear. Bhava Sindhu Tarivare Ache Jar Chitta Saddha Kari Suna Shri Chaitanya Charitra. Anyone who desires to cross over the ocean of nations, please hear with great faith the life and characteristic of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So I hope everybody has a desire to cross over this ocean of nations. Then it's worth, it will, we can draw the valuation. But if we don't have a desire, if we like here, then it will be difficult. Sri Rupa Raghunatha Pade Jaro As Chaitanya Charitamrita Kahe Krishna Das. Staying at the lotus feet of Sri Rupa and Raghunath, always desiring their mercy, I Krishna Das narrates Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, following in their footsteps. That's end the Bhaktivedanta purport to Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Anta Lila 11th chapter describing the passing of Haridas Thakur. Wonderful. Oh Krishna, it's almost like 1 hour passing. Om Jnanatimirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namo. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Saminti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pachanini Vishesha Shanavadi Paschata Vishata Bande Sri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Sahodita Gaurade Pushpavanta Chitta Sandam Panchakalpataruvesya Kripa Sindhavaiva Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhakta Binda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Thank you. First of all, I'm grateful to be here. I appreciate Mother Kirtidas Sundari Devi Dasi, Anjana Gopika Devi Dasi, and all of you for inviting me and engaging me to serve you with Chaitanya Charitamrita. I'm also very indebted eternally with feeling to Srila Prabhupada for giving such a secret, confidential knowledge of divinity. This is very rare. Even amongst Indians, not everybody knows about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's confidential pastimes. So I'm very much appreciating Srila Prabhupada for that. And also I'm very thankful Srila Prabhupada for making this Krishna Consciousness Society where assembled Vaishnavas are gathering different places through Zoom, through temple, through Bhakti Vriksha, Nama, so many ways to discuss these Krishna conscious topics and glorify. So in these topics, I find very interesting Haridas Thakur's life. At least you all are familiar that when Haridas Thakur is one of the most prominent character that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu entitled him or honored him as a Namacharya. And one of the way to see, I thought this morning also, that something we face in our life or something I face in my life, how to see. First of all, he faced a prostitute proposal. Beauty, attraction for sense enjoyment, it's always there with every soul, every conditioned soul. But Haridas Thakur placed holy name before that beauty, before that attraction. Another is Maya Devi's herself proposal, the illusion. She represents the illusion, and Haridas Thakur placed the holy name in front of her. There used to be a snake, fear of from other entity in the same cave Haridas Thakur was staying. And it seems like he knew the language, because when the audience were afraid to come nearby him, they expressed that we want to hear from you, but we are always afraid the snake may come and bite us. So then Haridas Thakur spoke to the snake. Look, seems like we are getting disturbed in our glorification of the Lord. So either I leave or you leave. He did not tell the snake threatening word that I'll kill you. He said either I leave or you leave. And right in front of everybody, there is a painting also somebody. The snake went out and never came back. So we are afraid of this world. from other people, bad guys, bullies, all kinds of we face. And Haridas Thakur also put the holy name in front. When the Qazi's objection, the social distancing nowadays, COVID-19, whatever, the problem was there, maybe more than now. There was such a heavy objection. Qazi even told him straight, you're born Muslim, why are you practicing Hindu? Of course, his conception of Hindu and Muslim is different than Haridas Thakur's. And only thing he did not give so many sloka or philosophy. He just placed the holy name and glorified holy name. When he was beaten in 22 marketplace, physical pain, physical pain, I was sitting 3 hours with the other class this morning, and now I'm sitting in the same place with the different audience, but so sometimes we see the physical little stiff feeling, you want to walk or move. And we all have some experience of physical uncomfortability. Well, Haridas Thakur's body, maybe the muscle and the bones separating, where the ladies were crying and begging Haridas, can you stop chanting? At least they will not take those muscle, blood and separate from the bones. But Haridas Thakur placed the holy name in front, and he did not experience that pain. He was thrown in jail, uncomfortable circumstances, family relation, COVID-19, we can say so many problems sometimes we face. Oh, Haridas Thakur also went through. What he did, he placed the holy name before. Then he was not allowed to Jagannath temple. He never pressure or spoke about it. He just placed the holy name. He was satisfied with that. Sometimes we may see that we don't get attention from the temple authorities or any comfortable association leaders or others. We may be ignored or something. Haridas Thakur also got ignored by the pandas and others. But he placed the holy name before that. When it was a hot, scorching heat, later on Mahaprabhu, by Mahaprabhu's arrangement, there was some tree, shade created. But before was just hot, scorching heat. Adi Doivik, Adi Bhautik he got from the snake, from other living entity. Adi Doivik also he got, the demigods, hot air, weather, sand, so hot in Jagannath Puri. But he placed the holy name in front. Due to his old age and disease, in this chapter, Mahaprabhu asked, can you ascertain your disease? He said, I cannot finish my rounds. Not old age or sickness, not feeling, no. Why? Because he placed the holy name before. And of course, these are all negative, we can say. The positive is that he wanted to enter into the divinity, highest expectation or opportunity given to the Kali Yuga Jiva, that Radha Krishna's esoteric, loving sentiment that was expressed by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we call love of Godhead or Krishna consciousness, pure form. Divine intervention, just by placing the holy name in front. And at the last moment of his leaving this world, breath, he also placed the holy name, Sri Krishna Chaitanya. So he is a Namacharya because of all this. And it's wonderful. Can we come to that level? Oh, we're not in a competition. Competition is in the material world. But in spiritual realm, it's not a competition. We are follower of Haridas Thakur. So we can prepare also ourselves to become that fortunate Just like the way Haridas Thakur led, as I was mentioning, how many problems he had. And you can count that how many problems literary Haridas Thakur faced. As I mentioned all this, that all this problem that we have, if you categorize and put Haridas Thakur side by side, we just generally think about it like one or two. But if you look at his life from childhood, he was born in a Muslim. When he came to Hindu, he was outcast. Then how much trouble he went through. I didn't even mention Balaram Chakravarti challenging his knowledge, who suffered because of that. Balaram Chakravarti died out of leprosy. What one thing Haridas Thakur had that we also have is the Panchatattva mantra, Hare Krishna Mahamantra. We have the same Mahamantra. Mahamantra is always pure. There is no Nama Parad, Nama Bhas. Mahamantra is Purna Nam, like a full moon. But person who is approaching Mahamantra, person who is seeing the moon, may be not able to see the moon in full in that capacity. From the earth, if you see it someday, you will see no moon, dark moon, Amavasya. Someday you'll see crescent, 5 days moon, someday little growing, waxing, waning. But the moon has nothing. A moon has no waxing, waning, or no moon. Moon is always full moon. Holy name is Purna. Complete Purna. It is the perceiver perceive through their ability, location. So what we're trying to say? We're trying to say that what Haridas Thakur had, we also have. It's a difference level of reality. It is not a location. Through our endeavor, by the mercy of Guru Krishna, if we can come to that level of reality, Suddha Sattva, connection, then we can experience that steadiness and Sevananda, highest form of bliss. And then our journey is over. It says very nicely that those who are preparing their life, art of living is to master art of dying. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur used to say, you have to let materially die in order to live spiritually. Materially die doesn't mean physically you leave this world. No. Bhakti is a journey within. Intention is more important than action, execution. Annavilasita sunnam gena karmadi anabritam anukulyana Krishna anusilanam bhakti ruttama. Anukulyana. Favorable attitude. Favorable attitude means no pratikul rahita, unfavorable. If I see a devotee, never feel bad, rather joyful. Do I? I could not say this before. Nowadays, I'm not that I feel, but I am trying intentionally. Now I should feel happy, even though I may not like that devotee. Or maybe he doesn't like or she doesn't like someone, close friend of mine. But that person is chanting. Why we are looking dirt when they are in a shower? Shower is supposed to clean. So we don't need to focus, as Prabhupada says. We all are taking shower, means in bhakti process, sadhana means shower. When shower is finished, everything is clean. It's all pure. So focus has to be shifted to the constitutional instead of conditional. Because the last thing people in this world generally discuss or even think is death. They often don't, even if we start to discuss about death, hey, let's talk about death. Where does Thakur die? Let's talk about death. What is death? It won't last too long with the karmis. Only the devotees, because they are really going home, their eternal home. So they talk, they glorify. Chaitanya Charitamrita write whole chapter about Haridas Thakur dying. Wow. Because he's a glorious. But the material world, karmis, they don't want to talk. Even if we start, after a few minutes, it stops. Because man, the human being has made so much innovation in technology that with little remote control, they can control satellite from thousands of miles away. He can put so many complexity into a small electronic chips. I have here iPhone. Whew, how many things you could do? It is an affront to the genius of modern human. Nobody wants to die. But everybody has to die. It is beyond their control. So much research has gone into eliminating death. But the wonder is nobody has escaped cruel death till now. Even the researcher or scientists who are doing the research. You know, they say commonly amongst the devotees, the death rate is same everywhere, 100%. Sometimes we see the reference in the scriptures that when Pandavas, they were in exile, they were extremely thirsty while nomadic in the forest. Yudhishthir asked his brothers to search some lake nearby because they were all thirsty. When after a long time they did not return, then Yudhishthira Maharaj himself went in search of them. I'm sure you all are familiar with that pastime. No sooner he found them near a lake in unconscious state. I'm not narrating the whole story, I'm just giving the conclusion of that. Then a supernatural voice resonated. Your brothers did not care to answer my question before drinking water from my lake, hence their current state. If you too don't answer, you will follow them. So Yudhishthira Maharaj nodded solemnly. One of the many questions asked by the supernatural voice was, what is the most astonishing thing in this world? And Yudhishthira Maharaj impeccably replied, one sees death everywhere around, but he thinks he is an exception. This is the most astonishing. Ahani ahani bhutani gacchanti he jamalayam sheshe sthavara tishtanti kim ascharya taparam. Later, after perfectly answering all their questions, the brothers were resurrected back. So the most astounding thing in the world is not the seven wonders. Just previous class I was mentioning about Bermuda Triangle and no, what was that? Krishna, not Taj Mahal. Anyway, So the 7 wonders, but the attitude that I will never die, in spite of seeing death around, everyone who dies think like that. Nobody likes to die. Now we just read Chaitanya Charitamrita. While voyaging throughout 84 lakh species of life, 84 laksha jivan, every time we encounter death, we were in a species of, who knows, dog, ants, trees, snakes, fish, tiger, elephant, eagles, demigod, pigeon, spider, you can go on, scorpion, lion, whale, shark, bacteria, COVID, maybe not 19, but COVID was there. It's not something new. It's also within 8,400,000. It is thrilling, but surely not fun. I'm not saying, I'm laughing at it. Yes. Every animal species is filled with immense against for survival. Even the kings of jungle have to famish for weeks to catch their prey. It is not a tranquil life. If we deliberate deeply, we can observe that for every kind of desire we have, there is a facility in nature. If someone desires to fly freely in the air, there's a bird's body. Someone wants to desire swimming, there's an aquatic body. All these things are given. The supreme, so Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita also, na tad bhasvate surja na sasanka na pavaka jadgatta na nivartante tad bhama. The supreme abode of mind is not illuminated by sun and moon, nor by fire or electricity. Those who reach it never return to this material world. So how the death take place for transcendentalists? This is what we just read. It is explained in Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, other pages also, that we are not the body, but spirit soul. And that body has death, not the soul. So actually, we don't die, rather the body does at the time of death. Well, good news, very good news. How relieving it is. Soul is indestructible while the body is destructible. Soul is driving force for the body. A transcendentalist understands this fact and goes further to know the source of the soul. The original home of the soul is the kingdom of God, Golok Vrindavan. Somehow, the soul has landed in this foreign land and is suffering like an orphan child. Hence, the duty of the living entity is to go back to his original home, where there is eternity, bliss, and complete knowledge in association of Krishna. Also, it is explained, we read other day, just like a cat when she hunts for rat, her teeth appears like a death knell. You all heard how Prabhupada depicts and demonstrates that example. That the mother cat's teeth appears like a death knell to rat. But for kitten, same teeth are loving embrace of mother. When death appears, a materialist feels petrified. But for transcendentalist, death is God's loving embrace. Can you all, I see 36 participants, can each of you embrace by God? Can you feel God's loving embrace a call back home. I'm not saying you have to die. That's not the point. In this, living in this material body, you can be in the spiritual reality, level of reality. It is not a location. Spiritual world, not necessarily a location. Even though it says, Goloko namni nija dhamni talesha taisha devi mahesha haridhameshu teshu teshu te te prabhava nichaya vihitascha jena Govinda madi. Yes, there is a spiritual hierarchy. There is a Devi Dham, material world. Above is Mahesh Dham, Shiva's planet. Above is Haridham, Vaikuntha. Above is Maha Vaikuntha, then Golok Vrindavan. Yes, but it is not location. That physical proximity where India is, America is, like there is a border, there is a distance. It is a different level of reality. Sattam Visuddham Vasudeva Sabditam Jathayate Pramana Pabrita. If you can connect to Suddha Satta wherever you are, through this chanting, through this devotional service, through hearing this, remembering Krishna, if you can come in contact with Suddha Satta, then you can enter into that existence while in this body. That time, that body becomes worshipable. That's why we have these samadhis of all this great personality. Why they are great personality? Because they are connected with Suddha Satta. Their body is so spiritualized. Anybody actually comes in contact with their body even is going to be immediately spiritualized. Prabhupada example is iron with the fire. Otherwise, we hear Haridas Thakur's, how do we apply? Why Haridas Thakur's death is so glorious? There's nothing to do with the material matter. It is all Suddha Satta activities. So, for the transcendentalists like us, all of you, death is Krishna's loving embrace. We should become fearless. Rather, we should embrace the death because it's a call back home. Just like it says, Prabhupada was asked one time, how do we know that one is going back home and one is reincarnating? Looks like both are dying same way. When two prisoners are escorted out of a jail into a van, it may seem both are heading to same destination, but one is released completely from the jail because of his good bearing, while the other is confined to rigorous imprisonment on account of his impish conduct. So death is same for materialist and transcendentalist, but what happens after death is imperative. So a transcendentalist practice bhakti yoga, Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is more powerful than death. Even death cannot check progress on spiritual path. That's why we say the best way of practicing it is by chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Anchor, one who practice sincerely, seriously, will surely at time of death acquire a spiritual body. I believe it's 15:7 in the purport, or 15:17 in the purport. Prabhupada write very clearly like this, I'm paraphrasing. That you get spiritual body immediately come out when you enter into that realm. So death is a time to change body from an inferior one to superior one. Hence, for transcendentalists, death is a time of reveal. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, in his Anubhashya on this Haridas Thakur's, he wrote something I remember. One time we read, that which I'm going to paraphrase, that for a devotee, death is like finally they feel my crying for my loved ones come to an end. That's how they feel. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur, of course, he was considering himself an ordinary sadhaka. He says, I understood if we perform bhakti yoga and achieve perfection, then we all can meet again in spiritual world, never to be separated again. And Srila Prabhupada, he said, when we go back to the spiritual world, we'll have another ISKCON there. In Caitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila, Prabhupada mentioned like that. Path of bhakti, Krishna consciousness, is best welfare activities for the family members and all. Even if one performs bhakti alone, he can deliver his beloved ones. We are not saying like each of us have to prepare now, we don't care family. I didn't say that. This is not exactly our comment. He said in the Bhagavatam, holy pages, 4th canto, the story of Dhruva Maharaj, you know very well, appears. We are reading other day also, where his mother guided him to practice Krishna consciousness in the forest. His mother told him, don't maintain this grudge against your stepmother, because those grudge in your practicing to achieve the goal will become a thorn on your path. You have to be very careful. So at the culmination, when Dhruva achieved perfection and was about to leave for spiritual world, he asked his beloved mother also to be taken along. Even though she did not practice like him. So if each of us, not if, since we are, each of us practicing seriously enough, if we can become little more serious and sincere, when time comes for soaring back to spiritual world, we can all think, I shall take my beloved ones along. Then we shall live happily ever after together with Krishna in the kingdom of God or Golok Vrindavan and happily live ever after. So I'll end here. If anyone has any question or reflection or further discussion. Also, I'd like to mention also how you prepare for death is very nicely explained in chapter 8. Chapter 8, where Lord Krishna actually revealed this to Arjuna, that he said that there is a prerequisite, like if you want to make sure that you are entering into spiritual world, then you should be inquiring, or you can say in Bhagavad Gita, the way Arjuna was asking, what is a prerequisite for attaining that state of consciousness by which one can remember Krishna at the time of death and thus attain him. Then Krishna in a 4th sloka, if you go 8th chapter, It's beautiful. He explained these 7 points. 6 are compulsory. We must know what is Brahman, what is Adhatma, what is Karma, what is Adi Devam, Adi Bhutam, Adi Jagna, and how does Lord lives in the body. When you know all these 7 answer correct, you are guaranteed that you will be able to think of Krishna at the moment of death. So that's very nice assuring. I'm sure you all are already eligible, but still it's good to have a reassure. So I'll end with these same 4 points that I mentioned in the beginning of Haridas Thakur's, that appreciation, thankful attitude to Prabhupada who gave this, to other devotees who are helping me every day. You know, I thought in Mangalarti, our temple has a packed devotees. Some days, a lot of devotees. Some days, maybe few less. But if they're not there, if I'm alone there doing Mangalarti, I won't be inspired. I may stop. So I should be thankful always and appreciate they are coming to encourage me and to give association so I can go on. More we appreciate and see that Krishna's hands in our life, it will remove all the obstacles where our consciousness can remain clear. So the other 6 things can manifest automatically. In Bhagavatam says that even the food we offer, because Mahaprabhu celebrated Haridas Thakur's funeral rite by distributing prasadam and kirtan, 2 things compulsory. It is very important. I hope everybody takes this seriously. I'm sure you don't eat outside anything. Because when you eat the food transforms into blood. Why it is important to know what blood got to do with spiritual life? Because consciousness travels with your blood. You feel little pinch somewhere. How? Because consciousness traveling all over your body. So it is important that transformation of the food to blood is pure. It's offered prasadam. Bhishmadev's story, we know that. Bhishmadev said to Draupadi, Mother Draupadi, it's because I was eating, Prabhupada mentioned that very nicely. I was eating this contaminated food. I could not speak the dharma. Of course, he's Mahajan, he's above, but he was acting in that role, we have to see. And then he says, now all the blood came out because of this arrows pierce my body. Now I can speak the truth as it is. Many examples like this. So that's one we should appreciate, thank. And the departing person also you should thank. If you ever find that somebody is about to leave this world, make sure you do these 4 things. It helps someone has a very clear consciousness in order to come to the stage. Clear consciousness doesn't mean you'll go back to spiritual world. Clear consciousness means you can evoke the Guru Krishna in your thought. And appreciation, and then the word, you know, that forgiveness, forgiving and begging for forgiveness. It's required for this. Even though, if you see Mahaprabhu's and Haridas Thakur's conversation, the both are appreciating each other, then both are expressing their love for each other, and both are actually begging for forgiveness. Haridas Thakur says, I mean, it's such insignificant. What is the loss of a little ant die? Please, my Lord, I'm not able to do much. If you can just fulfill my desire, please forgive me my inability, not properly conducting my duty. And Prabhupada gave a very nice purport how Haridas Thakur said that there is a spiritual disease. Sometimes amongst devotees we see that they don't feel enthusiastic to chant their rounds even. That's a spiritual disease. So we should examine our life with this chapter and come above. Oh, I'm sorry. It's already half an hour over. Please forgive me. I went a little over time. If anyone has any further discussion or comments.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you so much. It was very nice class. Yeah, I do not have any question, but the class was very nice. Thank you for your association, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, it's a very enlightening class. I still want more half an hour, 1 hour to keep going and on. There is no time limitation, Prabhu. And thank you for the 4 points that really helped. So looking for more and more from you, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mata. Can you tell me what are the 4 points you got? I'm sorry to attack you, but that's what I do.
Sure, Prabhu. It's first is appreciation. Second is to appreciate the love for each other. Third is association. And 4 is to prepare for the death.
Forgiveness, yes.
Forgiveness.
It's very important because forgiveness, you know, when I say I really forgive this person, I'm not holding any more grudge. I don't know if you, maybe none of you have ever experienced that you holding grudge against. I just don't like the devotee. I don't like these people. These people always eat meat. These are holding grudge. We have to go above that. They can block our clear conception about inviting the holy name in our thought, those little grudge are actually bad. So forgiveness is important. That these people are lost. Oh Krishna, please help them. This kind of forgiveness, also forgiving myself and forgiving others, also begging forgiveness from others, is necessary. It's compulsory, I would say. Thank you. Wonderfully explained it before.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Ananta Koti Danvat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev Ki Jai, Shri Radha Gopinath Ki Jai. Prabhuji, yes, Mataji, I agree with that, Mataji. Please go on. Today's class is specially for me, Prabhuji. We say very easily that I forgive them, but sometimes in our family life, we forgive them, but there is some grudge inside, Prabhuji, that it is come after 1 or 2 or 3 months like a volcano. So that means that I am not forgiving that person. So I learned such a nice lesson and preparing death and Haridas Thakur's how Caitanya Mahaprabhuji loved Haridas Thakur. The Leelas you explained about Sri Jagannath Puri Dham and Haridas Thakur and prepared our death and association of Vaishnava, especially Prabhu. Yes, Prabhuji, I agree with you. When I am in Sri Radha Gopinath temple, I am talking about 1990. Prabhuji, I not understand Srila Gurudev Vani, and there is a Kirtida Mataji. She is a teacher, and she said, and I am sitting nearby Srila Prabhupada and crying that I cannot understand Srila Gurudev Vani. And Kirtida Mataji is sitting there, and she said that from today I will explain in a Hindi, but your one ear is here in a Hindi translation and 1 ear is in English Srila Gurudev Vani, and not allowed to go temple. Only once in a month we are going temple for Guru Puja, and we have to come back after complete CC Bhagavatam. And Dr. Kishori is bringing a 2 CD every time, every Sunday. So maybe Prabhuji, after 7 or 8 months, by Srila Gurudev Mercy, understand the half lectures of Srila Gurudev, and H.H. Jayapataka Maharaj also regularly came there. And after 1 year, somehow, me not able to go Shri Radha Gopinath, because my Gurudev is American, but all the Shri Radha Gopinath counselor, Dr. Kishori, Shidam Prabhu, Dr. Jhanwa Mataji, Madhavendra Prabhu, all senior counselor, Dr. Dwarkadis, they regularly came and give a association to Vaishnava. So this is the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev, and Shri Radha Gopinath. After coming abroad, Prabhuji, in a Boston, not get association of Vaishnava. After coming Atlanta, get a strong association of Bhakti Sangha, all teachers, Maharaj, Prabhuji, that I am working to taking care of senior citizen and hearing Krishna Katha, Krishna Katha, Krishna Katha. So association of Vaishnava is very important in my life, and I think it is very important in everybody's life. After hearing more and more Krishna Katha, it's directly effect to our morning japa. That quality is going improving. Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you, Prabhuji, for taking us in a Gopinath temple, and feel that Maharaj is given all the instruction. Ananta Koti Danvat Pranam to your shape, sincere seva. Hari Hari Gauranga. Please forgive me for take 1-2 minutes more.
I appreciate. Thank you. Please pray for me too. You are seems like advancing so rigidly. Please pray for me and bless me also. That's wonderful.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Please accept my humble obeisances. Thank you for the wonderful class, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, towards the end, you said if we can become a little more sincere. So I would like to know, how do we become a little more sincere? Because every time I try to push myself, I'm always scared that if I reach the boundary, then I may fall back to where I started from. So how do we become a little more sincere, Prabhu? That's my question. Thank you.
You know probably better than me. What do I know? I just repeat sometime what I hear. You know, Giriraj Maharaj said one time that do we have choice? What Prahlad Maharaj did, Prahlad Maharaj had any choice when Hiranyakashipu was torturing? I said, I don't remember. I don't think there was a choice. But he was meditating on the Lord. He said, yeah, that's the only choice he had. If you really think very deeply, each of our life, we don't have a choice. Whatever is coming, it's already predestined. Only choice we have, when it's, of course, we have a choice, we have a free will. But when I say that, means we don't have a choice. What we perceive or what we go through or the challenges appears. What choice we have is to force ourselves to Krishna, to think of Krishna. That's why it makes sense why Prabhupada says that japa, chanting, means forced meditation. And I could not understand why forced meditation, why not lovingly? Well, it won't happen because Krishna consciousness is not automatic in conditional life. I don't mean to discourage any of you, but it's in reality, it is the intentional. And intentional means that you have to have a commitment and efforts. That is what it boils down to intentional. It is not, oh, okay, I chanted 10 years, 5 years or 20 years, whatever, and then now it will automatically happen. No. We see that practically in devotee's life, even some advanced, sincere, serious devotee, when their intention was not focused on goal of life or Krishna consciousness, they deviated. that myth is there, that spiritual maturity, spiritual growth is automatic. No, it is not automatic. Reality is that spiritual growth is intentional. It requires commitments and effort to grow. That's what I meant, sincerity. You know, of course, the origin word, sincerity, what I heard many years back from Lakshmi Nrsimha Prabhu, one of Prabhupada's disciple, early days. He's Italian. So he said the words sincerio, they used to sell marble. And in the market, when they would sell marble, and some of the marble had a crack. So they would put epoxy to match the color and would not disclose to the buyer. So as a result, these people would buy and they would bring to their country. Those days, that's how it was originally. And they lay on the floor or this, and later on they see there's a mark because those wax comes off, or they attracts the dust. It's not removable, and then the crack visible. So next time they would come to buy the marble, they would say, sincerio, integrity. What you sell as it is, no dupliciousness. In my practice has to be exactly just the way Prabhupada said, can I accept it as it is? Can I make my living without pretending? Why do I have to show other devotees that I'm advanced, more, better than what they? Otherwise, I like to watch movie, unnecessary movie, but I don't want any devotee to see. I'm not saying anybody's doing it, but there was a time I thought would be very interested to watch movie every day because I was addicted. And you can see when you take the serious commitment, and Krishna like removed that thorn. I didn't watch probably movie almost like 10 years because I lost the taste. Like, why should I be interested of somebody's life when I was not happy with my own life until I come to spiritual life? Yes, spiritual life, we love it. But if I didn't like my material life, why should I be watching somebody else's life? That's what movies are mostly. So it made me a lot of things that, yes, we don't need to make our living without pretending. That is sincere. If I have a deficiency, if I have imperfectness, I should be honest. Say, I can't pay attention in my chanting. Oh, Krishna, please, Prabhupada, help me. This calling, Krishna pays attention. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says. In Bhagavad Gita 12.9, 12.10, you know those verses, how Krishna says that absorb your mind or fix your mind upon me and engage all your intelligence in me, then you can live with me. Done, without doubt. Krishna says, Mayeva, what's that? Mayeva mana adhasta, may buddhi niveshaya. Niveshasya mayeva atha urdhavam nasam. Okay, live peacefully. Can I do that? No. For 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, hardly. It goes back to something else. So then we should beg. So then Krishna next sloka, he says, you should practice. If you cannot do that, absorb your mind and engage your intelligence in me, then you should practice. Then Krishna says that very nice example. That I don't know if you ever saw American movie. I had 2 sons before, they were baby, now they're grown up, 27. when they're baby, I remember one American cartoon I saw, it stuck with me. And I was talking to one sannyasi. He said, oh yeah, I grew up with that too. And Prahladananda Maharaj depicted on that cartoon, I could relate. That there is a Charlie Brown. He has a girlfriend named Lucy. So Charlie Brown is shooting arrows into a wall and then going to the wall and drawing circles around the arrow. So the Lucy is asking, Charlie Brown, what are you doing? And he said, well, I'm drawing circle around where the arrow hit. So I make sure that I'm always hitting my target. In other words, when I'm chanting, I'm actually shooting the target. In Bhagavatam actually says that you give yourself like arrow and fell at the feet of Mahaprabhu or Krishna. That mood, that Prabhu, I'm calling you to be at your feet. But the Charlie Brown story, why I brought this, because sometimes we think that if we shoot, whichever way I chant, it doesn't matter, just chant. Eventually, we can make a circle around that arrow and we think that we shot the target. No, it is not. Target. It's not exactly what we mean by accurate shooting. So sincere means no duplicitous. We have to make actually concerted effort to do things properly, then we'll actually get the proper result. Not that if we just chant or lead our spiritual life and it will automatically produce. No, it is intentional. That's why I'm begging that it is intentional. If somebody may say that, well, if all the devotees are around at the time of death and chanting going on, that's not enough? No, not enough. Because we see in Haridas Thakur case, the question should rise, where is my consciousness is? Devotees are here chanting because consciousness means thinking, willing, awareness, and feeling. Do I feel happy that I'm departing from this world to spiritual world? Maybe the consciousness is not so spiritual. So what I'm trying to say, I'm not trying to scare anybody or anything, that our sadhana boils down to these things. Our consciousness, our thinking, feeling, willing has to change to spiritualize completely before we depart. Then journey is over. Facility may be there, maybe not there. Like Prabhupada said to Keshav Bharati Maharaj, he was chanting intensely. And then Prabhupada opened his eye and says, there may be a day you may not have access of temple. You may get stuck somewhere. When I heard that story, it was like very affected me. And then Prabhupada told him, there may be a day that you are about to die. There may not be any temple nearby, may not have any devotee nearby. What do you do? And Keshav Bharati Maharaj didn't know what to say. Prabhupada said, therefore, your consciousness has to be purified by chanting. Be prepared means consciousness has to be purified. So thank you for a wonderful question, sincere.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Thank you for wonderfully explaining again. Thank you.
So we should end here, unless somebody.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, do you have time for another?
Yes, I have. If it is okay for the host.
Yeah, so I have a couple questions, but just to follow up on this last statement you made about being pure in consciousness at the time of death. I'm just wondering, what is actually the value of people chanting around the departed soul, you know, let's say at the time of cremation or something like that, at a funeral, you know, what is that value? Especially if the person's consciousness, I mean, they may have even been a materialist, you know, or a devotee or something in between. So yeah, can you tell me?
See, what I understand by the mercy of Prabhupada and our acharyas, that something internal, like a loyalty to Guru. Loyalty to Guru, to Prabhupada. Prabhupada is our eternal Shiksha Guru for at least 10,000 years. This loyalty, chastity, is empowerment to keep our consciousness pure. Every day, I'm not asking everybody to do that, but it will be nice if we can do it. Every day, you write a new phrase. Why Srila Prabhupada is a well-wisher in your life? Or why do you choose to accept Srila Prabhupada's teaching as the most important? Something like this, one sentence every day. The whole inner consciousness, attitude changes. I give you one example, Mata. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur asked his disciple, I want you to go and preach. Oh no, Gurudev, I don't want to leave Holy Dham. I want to stay in Mayapur. But you have come to serve. You have come to serve. Yes, Gurudev, I want to serve. I want to be with the devotees. He said, but the most important things with the devotee association is to follow the instruction. But Gurudev, I don't want to go to Calcutta. It's a horrible place. I'm just scared. I just don't want to go. So Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur tried few times. It didn't work. Then after few years, that particular devotee who got attacked by some deadly disease, and out of fear, he had to go to Calcutta hospital. He himself chose to go to Calcutta hospital. And while the operation was everything, those days, I don't know, operation was not just modern, was not easy. But somehow or other, he passed away in the hospital in Calcutta. Now look at the other side. There's another devotee who was taking the Goshala tower barn, in Chaitanya Math that time. He was taking care of the cows, farming. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur was so pleased with him. He called him one time. He said, I know I do not talk to you, and I know you don't have so much association, but you taking the essence of the association, that you are so sincerely doing the service for years. I want you to go to Vrindavan during Kartik and participate in that Brajamandal Parikrama that he started. Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur is the one who started in the beginning, 1929. So I want you to go there and get the mercy of Srimati Radharani. So this devotee said, whatever pleases you, Gurudev. Yes. He said, yes, go. So he went. As he reached Mathura station, there is no Vrindavan station. There's a train station stops at Mathura. And he got down and he went to temple. And some devotee knew that he's coming. Those days they didn't have a telephone, but they had a letter. So he's one of the devotee who will be arriving. So they said, oh, wonderful, you have come, very good. It's evening time, Sandharati going on, the Kirtan is going on, devotee association, and you have arrived in Vrindavan, where Srimati Radharani served Krishna so nicely. So he was so overwhelmed. He paid obeisances and he never got up. When Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur heard it, he said he entered in Vrindavan, eternal abode. But the other person did not enter. Now, I was manually checking that what was not proper. What was the missing, what was the difference between these two? Anyone can figure it out? Can somebody help me with?
Surrender to the Guru, Prabhu.
Good. Surrender to the Guru means what? Essence of?
Basically, following the command of the Guru. Whatever is his command, that is actually your dharma. That is the path you are supposed to follow.
That is humility, number one. Humility, when you talk about humility, it is not like in India we have a wrong conception. Humility is like somebody is quiet, don't speak, or somebody shy away. They think is humble. Humility means no opposition to the command of my master. Yes, mother. Very nicely you say. No opposition to the command of my master. This is humility. Now, first definition. So humility and chastity, these two qualifications we have to have. And Guru gives his protection, his care, affection. Yes, he will give. Krishna. We have to have these two, loyalty, chastity, and humility. So he had that. And the other devotee didn't have. So when you say living time, living body, if you have an association devotee chanting, still you carrying your own consciousness. In your consciousness, if you actually embrace this path, if you really follow your Guru, then journey is complete. We can be in the middle of association of a great devotee, but if I'm not taking, if I'm not purifying my consciousness, still it may help some, it may help to change our consciousness, but still we have our own choice to accept it.
So, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So, if a person is not having very pure consciousness at the time of death, but at their funeral there are devotees who are chanting the holy names, I'm still wondering in what way it helps that person.
It's helping in a sense that every opportunity is there that we may regret or repent if we committed some offense to someone. We cannot overlook. It's like if I get a splinter is there, doctor may be there, so many doctor and nurse may be in the house. But so long I have the splinter, I'm still experiencing the pain. The presence of doctor and nurse is not minimizing, but they are not, until I accept them, their treatment to pull this out of my body, then it's not going to make me any difference. Krishna was there in front of Duryodhana. I mean, how close proximity when Krishna is conversing with Duryodhana. Dhritarashtra had a conversation with Krishna. Still, he never became devotee. He is the first one who heard Bhagavad Gita. Millions became devotee after hearing, but he was the first person. He should have a transformation big. Sanjay had a kind heart for him. Still, he has to accept. You can bring the horse to the water. You cannot force him to drink. We have to open our heart to actually appreciate others. That's why appreciating others' activity, others' service, it helps us move our own misconception. I'm not under. Holy name is most powerful. So as Krishna, Dhritarashtra asked Krishna that Bhishma Dev, Kripacharya, they are all praising you, your universal form. I was born blind. Can you remove my blindness so I can see the universal form? And Lord Krishna told him, it is not your eye can see me or my universal form. It is my sanction. You're not eager to obey or align with my plan, so you cannot have that vision. It's our choice. Even your guru say, even directly from Golok Vrindavan somebody can come. You can still choose not to chant. What is that? We see a lot of good, positive, that's true. We also hear negative. Prabhupada says that there's an ad, you probably heard that. Chant, chant, chant. And the other person is saying, can't, can't, can't. So it's intentional. It is not a automatic.
Okay, I guess as you said, you know, if the person is not very pure in consciousness, maybe by the presence of the holy name at the time of death, it can make them more receptive to devotional service in their next birth, maybe.
Yes, no, even that moment he can. Khatanga Maharaj did within a moment. He can, that person can, if that person wants to accept it. Acceptance.
Okay.
Acceptance is very important. Without acceptance, bhakti doesn't begin. If I don't want to accept Krishna consciousness, you can feed me prasadam, it will change my consciousness. But still, I will have to come to a point where I accept it. So everything helps. Eventually, I will accept it.
Okay, Prabhu. Also, you mentioned, you know, in accepting the instructions of the Guru, there should be loyalty and chastity and I forget what else. But what's the distinction between loyalty and chastity?
Loyalty and chastity is the same thing. I said the other thing is humility. Humility is not like what we think, or at least in my village, early days, we thought humility means like you don't speak much, you're not bold, you're like quiet little, like, no, humility means you identify yourself in truth, servant of Krishna, servant of Vaishnava. This is humility. No opposition to the command of my master. Whatever my guru says, I take it and execute. This is humility. This is real identity.
But I'm not sure if I might have missed it, but I was really asking the distinction between loyalty and chastity. Did you say they're the same?
In one sense, they are saying that loyalty, chastity means, like for an example, as a mother, you may work outside. You may meet in your work many men. You may even follow the order of boss. I mean, in a boss, you can say boss. It's not a bad word, it's okay. But when it comes to your private life, you follow your husband's instruction, not other man's instruction. So we may be in this world doing our job or even listening other acharyas' opinion, other commentary, other devotee association, so many mods here, there, so many sampradaya. We are not forbidden, if they are or they are, and like I mentioned, Haridas Thakur Samadhi is controlled by the Babaji. It's fine. But loyalty means you still follow the last instruction, is what Prabhupada wants you to do. How we reconcile that. Loyalty in that sense, chastity in that sense, that we never deviate from what Prabhupada says. Even though it may conflict with some other acharya or others' opinion, then we have to ask the senior devotee how to understand this when there's an apparent difference. But we never lose that chastity. Just like a married lady never lose her personal private life only with one man, husband. She may work for another man. She may have a employee, co-worker and others. But as her personal or physical contact or her emotional contact, it's only the man she married. This is called loyalty, chastity. Similarly, every disciple has to always stay focused like that.
So loyalty, chastity, no difference, basically.
I didn't understand. Can you repeat that one?
Yeah, no, I just wanted to confirm that you were using these two words synonymously, loyalty and chastity.
Same.
Okay. Just one last thing. If you could just repeat those 7 items you said that it would be beneficial to remember at the time of death. Do you remember those 7 things?
These are in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 8.
Uh-huh.
Chapter 7, I think, chapter 7. Last 2 verses, I forgot, 30 and 29 or something. That promotes the question, Arjuna's question. Krishna is revealing chapter 8, the 7 things. What is Brahman? In other words, our acharyas is saying, Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur says, is a prerequisite for attaining the state of consciousness by which one can remember Krishna at the time of death and thus attain him. So prerequisite means you have to be fully conversant on what is Brahman. We accept 4 Brahman. I'm sure you all know. We discussed that once. Second is, what is self? Who am I? Servant of the servant of Krishna is good. Better than that, you say servant of Srila Prabhupada is better, because it has more relevant. Krishna's servant of the servant, I sometimes don't understand because I don't have a relationship yet established. When you identify your servant of your guru, it's more appropriate. There's an entrance in Golok Vrindavan, easier. When you say, you are following Prabhupada, Krishna will allow the entrance in Golok, easy. So what is self? Adhatma. This is the second question. Third question is, what is karma? Fourth is, what is adhibhutam? Adhibhutam means the basis of this material nature, material manifestation. And then 5 was, what is adi daivam? The principle underlining the demigods. And 6 is adi jagna. Who is the Lord of sacrifice? That we are sacrificing our life for who? For Krishna. Who is that Krishna? Is it Indra or Vishnu or a particular form of supreme absolute truth? Very specific. And where does he live? In the body. And details you can read. Prabhupada gave a big purport. Nice. Thank you, Mata. I hope that helps you.
Well, you mentioned 6, right? There was supposed to be 7, no?
What is Brahman? 1. What is self? Adhyatma. 3. What is karma? 4. What is adibhutam, or basis of the material manifestation? Adidaivam. 5. Adijagnam. Adidaivam means principle of underlining the demigods. Adijagna is who is the Lord of sacrifice, that you are doing devotional service. Who is the Lord that taking your offerings? Krishna, but be more specific, and what do you know about Krishna, that Adi? Because Indra is also known by the demigod worshippers. Other demigod, other gods also there. Then the last one is, how does the Lord, that Lord, who is your object of love, live within this body, in your body?
How does he live in our body? Oh. Is there a Sanskrit term connected to that one?
Yeah, in that verse 1 and 2 in the chapter 8. Chapter 8, first sloka, and you'll see. Let's see how it goes. Kim tad brahma kim adhyatmam kim karma purushattama adibhutam cha kim proktam adidevam kim uchyate. And kim tad brahma kim adhyatma kim karma purushattama. Yes, adibhutam. And then I think it's adijagna katham ko atra. Dehasmin madhusudana. Yes, dehasmin, in the body. How does he live in your body? In the body. Dehasmin. Yes.
Okay, so you're saying that we should know these 7 things for the purpose of fill in the blank.
I'm going to repeat what I understood in paraphrasing. According to Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, these 7 things is a prerequisite. Like to go to medical school, you have to have a pre-medical exam. So to achieve Krishna, he says that this is a prerequisite for attaining the state of consciousness by which you can remember Krishna at the time of death.
Mm-hmm.
And that will take you to attain him.
Okay. Thank you very, very much, Prabhu.
Good.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. I know you have been speaking now for almost 5 or 6 hours. You have taken, the Bhakti Shastri class, and now almost this is also, 2.5 hour class. But thank you for your association, Prabhu. Anjana Gopika Mataji, would you like to take over?
Yes, Mataji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji and Mataji, for everyone. Now we can end the call. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for your
You all please pray for me and bless me, and please accept my humble obeisances. Pancha kalpa taruvesya kripa sindhu
nama pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.
Antagari Vaishnavrinda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Iskon Guru Vrinda ki jai.
Thank you, Prabhu. Yes, we can end the call.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Koti Koti Dandavat Pranam.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam to all.